Hey the YouTubers, so this is the second attempt to try to record this video. Last time, for some reason I didn't get the sound, so I just want to, give this a second try. Let me just fix this camera a little bit. Keep getting close, watch out. Alright, so, yeah, so I just did, like I said, I just did like a 15-minute video, but it was probably too long anyway, just the same, so let me just catch you up with what I've been doing the last few weeks. And I guess what came out, having ruminated about it and talking about it on the last video was I've been just kind of like cruising, just kind of like surfing along, not necessarily, too much obsessed with transition, not focusing too much on the transition part as it is with just the new, kind of like just experiencing the new lifestyle, being female and being out there and making friends and really just focusing more so on the social aspect of it and just putting myself out there, trying to make new friends. I have a couple of girlfriends at work that I've gone out with actually a couple more than once, a few times, and made some new friends. And that was another point I wanted to bring up is, which I didn't on the last video. When I do make like new friends at work, like I have this one in particular that I don't believe she's aware that I'm trans, and we've gone out and so I don't know. I feel like I'm like pulling one over on her, it's like I wonder. So I'm just curious about that, like when, just a friendship, I mean just a platonic friendship, this is not necessarily gonna progress to any kind of romance. I really don't see it going that. She's married, so I really don't think that there's a physical attraction there, and we just suddenly just kind of met each other at work, and now it's like, she's reading me totally female and saying things like, we're talking about, like children and stuff like that. She says, oh, you must have been a good mom or something like that to your children. And I'm thinking like, oh, wow. She's like totally, convinced that, I'm female and all this. So, and it made me feel like funny, like, all right, so do I tell this person or do I wait for somebody else to tell her? Some blabbermouth at work is going to say, oh, Michelle there, she's really a guy, that's masquerading as a female, and all this crap. So that's just one thing that just, I guess, pops up a lot, and I'm going to talk to my therapist about that as well, bring that up. So I just want to know what any of you girls think about stuff like that happens, where you meet people and there's for sure that there's not going to be any kind of romance or anything like that, so you're never going to get to the point where you start making out and start thinking about, hey, before we actually hop into bed together, we should just be totally transparent with each other and all this. But anyway, so that's about how it's going, and then just going out, just meeting new people, putting myself out there, and meeting fellas, admirers, going out and just dating. I mean, just for the fun of just just for the fun and also the adventure, I guess, more so, to be more accurate, specific, of just going out and the rendezvous, meeting people after work, and just going out and having friends and so on. So that's kind of like where I've been going with that, and also continue to go out on weekends. Today I'm going to someplace different. I'm going to an interesting sort of group. There's a lot of support groups out here in New York City. If you know where I live, I mean, there's the center and a bunch of other, orgs out there, organizations that, serve this, the LGBT population, but I don't generally gravitate towards them. But today I am going out to the center, the LGBT center in New York City, and they have a interesting, not a trans group, but it's a group for like strippers basically. It's for women who've worked in the adult entertainment field, you might say. There were strippers or bachelor, that kind of sort of venue, bachelor parties and stuff like, who've done stuff like that, either past or current, and it's called Brunch and Bitch. Of all, yeah, so of all names, Brunch and Bitch, or Bitch and Brunch. I'm not quite sure, but it's kind of like the stuff that attracts me. I thought that was really interesting, and I'm kind of like fascinated by that whole area, because there's so much of it. You hear about it a lot. I mean, it's very underground, sort of like the S&M, the fetish groups, and the strip clubs. Not that I want to necessarily work in a strip club or think that I could pull that off, but I guess maybe in the back of my mind, that's how I kind of like think that, wouldn't that be? I thought that'd be interesting to try that, but that's how I think. I've done so many things. But some people obviously they take it very seriously. There's especially the fetish area, not so much like to be a stripper or something like that, but to be involved in sort of like this, the fetish aspect of it, the S&M fetish, and like light S&M, these that cater to mostly men, mostly males, middle-aged married males that like to somehow just have a just like that sort of thing, to be dominated by a woman and be spanked and all that stuff, and if you're good, I mean, you could do very well, and I'm sure some of these girls do very well for themselves. But I would just like to meet up with some of them and see what kind of like what that scene is like from their excuse me, from their point of view. So that's where I'm heading today, to the Brunch and Bitch support group for strippers. And what else? Then I'm going to meet somebody later on that I met online, and that's about it. I mean, I continue to do my volunteer work. Things are going pretty well at work. My full-time paid job, it's going very well. I am going to be moving to a different office. I'm going to be moving from where I am now, public affairs, to moving to HR. I was offered a position there. There's a lot of reorganization, restructuring going on here with many agencies within the city. I work for the health department. For those of you who don't know, it's a pretty big agency, but and the type of job I had in public affairs was a very, very public, sort of like interfacing with lots and lots of people, both not only on the inside but also externally. And it was just, I don't know, I just never quite, I tried it, but I never quite got over it. It was just too, at times it was awkward, for me, and it still is, maybe I sense still awkward for, a lot of my colleagues, at work. Although, for the most part, people are supportive and they're polite, but, I did lose quite a few friends, or slash colleagues, people that I worked with for whatever reason. I don't know. I never quite, quite understood that, how people just suddenly just a number, quite a few people just decided not to kind of like just ostracize me, you might say, and that's it. I mean, those are the pros and cons of transitioning in a workplace like that, where you started out as one gender and now you're switching to the other. It's just that's almost expected. I mean, you might say for girls out there that are transitioning at work, that's one of the consequences. That's why it's always better to try to change somehow. Try to try to get something different or a different job or somehow. But in my case, that wasn't really an option. Wasn't really an option for me. So, um, but I'm moving to a different office, so there'll be all new people there. So I'm happy about that. So I'll report back on that. That's going to happen sometime in April. So I will let you know about that. Otherwise, you might say I'm just and with my part-time job, teaching job, that's going very well. It's going very well. I'm being read for the most part, female. I hear a couple of students say, she, whatever she did, this something like that. So that's always like, yeah, it's positive thing, that they're really reading me. I'm not quite sure who's knows about my transition, who doesn't know, whatever, but it's not an issue, and it's amazing how you get like young people like that, like these are like all college age students, right? Some a little older, some younger. I have one class that's really young. I polled them in the beginning. It seemed like because they seem like a lot of like just fresh out of high school, a lot of them, and how adaptable they are. I wish I actually get more acceptance there on campus amongst the students than I do on my full-time job among like older sort of adult crowd. That's just the way it is, and that's a plus for, I think, for the future of the trans community. That I think the people growing up now and are much more adaptable and much more accepting of this sort of lifestyle, change, So, I get emotional too about stuff like that too, and that's hormones. That's a hormone-induced emotional response, So I get that a lot. But anyway, yeah, no, I really I love the kids out there. I call them kids because like I have kids of my own that are like 22 and 24. So yeah, so things are going cool. Things are real cool there at work on the jobs and volunteer jobs. I continue to do that to keep busy. And as I said in the beginning, the subject of this is just kind of like just cruising, just surfing along, And I'm going to head out pretty soon. It's Sunday. It's a really nice day, nice sunny day, getting a lot of nice light in here right now. So one thing I didn't talk about, which I'm going to cut this out because I'm almost at 15 minutes. What I didn't talk about on this video, but it's about transitioning like in middle age where I am right now, like the pros and cons. But I think I'll just save that for another time and just get on with it. The day is halfway over, so I think I will sign off right now, and hope everybody's doing very well, and I will see you next time, maybe in a week or so. Okay, bye-bye now. Bye.